Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise to get you well-informed fast. Today we're taking a deep dive into something that, well, it might sound incredibly technical at first glance, but it's absolutely crucial for understanding what true security means in our digital world. We're talking about the ISO IEC 27001.2022 ISMS Audit Checklist. Now, our source material for this deep dive isn't some dry textbook. It's a practical, actionable checklist, the kind organizations actually use for internal audits, gap assessments, and prepping for that all-important certification of their Information Security Management System, or ISMS. Our mission today: to unpack this seemingly technical document, we want to reveal its crucial insights, its frankly surprising scope, and understand exactly why it's such a cornerstone for robust information security in any organization, big or small. So to guide us through this comprehensive framework, we're starting with the main clauses audit checklist. This isn't just a list of technical controls, is it?
Yeah, not at all.
It feels more like a foundational blueprint for how an organization thinks about and manages information security.
Exactly. This checklist, it ensures an ISMS meets the standards requirements, but more than that, it highlights its truly holistic approach. It goes far beyond just the IT department. It's really about integrating security into the very fabric of the business.
Okay, so it kicks off with understanding the context of the organization. Now, for something so focused on information security, that feels, well, it feels like we're not even talking tech yet. Why start there?
Well, that's actually a truly powerful aspect of this standard. It mandates identifying internal and external issues relevant to the ISMS right from the outset. You need evidence for this.
Evidence like what?
Like context analysis. Think of it like a comprehensive health checkup for the organization. SWOT pestle reports are common here.
Right. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, and the pestle factors. Political, economic.
Exactly. Social, technological, legal, environmental. The core challenge here, the question it raises is, how can you effectively secure an organization's information without first understanding its unique environment, its objectives, and crucially, the needs and expectations of everyone involved? Your stakeholders. This all needs to be documented, often in a stakeholder register. It's about clearly defining the ISMS scope document and making sure those ISMS processes are actually woven into everyday business operations, not just bolted on.
Okay, that makes sense. Then this is where it gets really interesting for me, the deep involvement of top management. For a lot of people, like you said, security still feels like an IT department's problem. Why is this a strategic thing needing leadership buy-in?
Yeah, it's a great point. Stepping back for a moment, historically, information security was often just delegated to IT. It was seen as a cost center, maybe just a technical fix needed. But the true insight here, what ISO 27001 really forces, is for leadership to view security as a fundamental business enabler, something that directly impacts brand trust, customer loyalty, even market valuation.
So it's not just about preventing bad things, but enabling good things too.
Precisely. You need visible top management commitment. And again, evidence. Things like meeting minutes showing security is discussed, interviews with leaders confirming their understanding and support. It also requires a clear information security policy, not just written down somewhere, but actually communicated effectively. And roles and responsibilities need to be assigned and understood. You'd look for org charts, job descriptions that reflect this. Without that top-level buy-in, honestly, even the best technical controls are like a fortress with no one truly commanding the guards at the gates.
Okay, so we've got the context mapped out. We've secured that crucial leadership buy-in. What's the actual blueprint then? How do we start planning the security? How does the standard guide that proactive step?
Right, planning. Clause 6. This clause focuses squarely on proactivity. It really begs the question, are risks and opportunities being addressed effectively before they become major problems? This involves conducting a thorough information security risk assessment. You need a defined methodology for this. You can't just wing it.
Right.
You need to maintain a risk register with clear action plans. And, importantly, develop and implement a risk treatment plan, or RTP.
The RTP. That's basically the strategy for dealing with each risk.
Exactly. It's your organization's detailed strategy. Are you going to accept this risk, mitigate it, transfer it somehow, or avoid it altogether? And this happens alongside developing a statement of applicability, the SOA.
Yes, the SOA. Which controls actually apply to you. Right?
Precisely. It lists which of the standard security controls are relevant and implemented within your specific ISMS, plus your information security objectives. They have to be measurable and monitored. And any changes to the ISMS, they need to be planned in a structured way with clear change management logs, no ad hoc changes.
That sounds incredibly thorough. But, plans don't execute themselves. What kind of essential support systems and resources does an organization need to actually bring all this to life? I'm thinking especially for maybe a smaller business that might hear sufficient resources and feel a bit overwhelmed.
Yeah, that's a common concern. And this is really where the rubber meets the road, Clause 7, support. And ISMS isn't just theory, it needs fuel. This section addresses those crucial resources and capabilities. Yes, it requires sufficient resources. That means adequate budget and staffing plans. But, and this is key for smaller organizations, sufficient is scalable. It's about what's appropriate for your specific context and your risks. It doesn't necessarily mean hiring an army of cybersecurity experts.
Okay, so it's relative.
It's relative. It also involves ensuring staff competence. You need training records, maybe certifications to prove people know what they're doing. Crucially, employees must be aware of their information security responsibilities. Think awareness programs, regular reminders. You also need effective internal and external communication defined maybe via communication plans. And finally, all that documented information we keep talking about, it must be controlled and maintained, usually using a document control log, ensuring consistency, accuracy, version control, all that good stuff.
Right. So planning and support lay the groundwork. Now we move into the actual doing and checking phase. How does the checklist guide the day-to-day operations and make sure things are actually working as intended? Clause 8, right?
Yes, Operation Clause 8. What's striking here is the emphasis on ensuring ISMS operations are actively controlled and, really importantly, aligned with those risk treatment plans we just discussed. It's all got to be documented through clear procedures and logs. You need proof.
So it's about continuous verification.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Verifying that risk assessment is performed regularly and kept up to date, and that risk treatment is actually implemented as planned. You'd look for evidence like reassessment reports, control effectiveness reports. This ensures your security isn't static. It needs to be a living, breathing part of your daily work, constantly adapting.
And how do you know if it's performing well?
That's Clause 9, performance evaluation.
Yeah.
The broader implication here is that it's vital to have robust monitoring and measurement mechanisms in place. Things like performance dashboards, perhaps, to track how well the ISMS is performing, ideally in near real time. This also includes conducting internal audits. You need a schedule, documented audit plans, audit reports, and regularly holding and documenting management reviews. These are formal meetings where leadership looks at the ISMS performance. You need meeting records for that.
So that's the feedback loop.
That's your feedback loop, absolutely. It tells you if you're on track or if things need adjusting.
Which leads nicely into improvement, Clause 10.
Right. The core challenge then becomes, how do organizations ensure they're not just compliant today, but continually getting better? Clause 10 is about improvement. It mandates documenting and addressing nonconformities, basically, where you fall short. You use nonconformity reports or NCRs for this. These are formal documents detailing where your ISMS doesn't meet the standards requirements or your own policies. And you need to actively demonstrate continual improvement, maybe through improvement logs, tracking suggestions, showing how you learned from incidents or audits. It's not a one-and-done certification. It's a journey of constant refinement.
Okay, so those were the big picture clauses, the management system framework itself. Now let's zoom in a bit. Let's talk about some specific controls from Annex A. These are the practical, tangible details, the nitty-gritty that makes an ISMS actually tick. The source mentions a full list of 93 controls, which is, wow, a lot. But let's maybe highlight a few intriguing examples to give you a flavor of the granular level this standard really goes to.
Absolutely. Think of these Annex A controls as the specific security measures you'd actually put in place on the ground. So first up, 8.5.1 Policies for Information Security. Seems basic, but it all starts here. Clear security policies need to be established, approved by management, published, communicated, and reviewed regularly. They form the backbone.
Can't build without a foundation.
Precisely. Then a critical one, 8.5.9 Inventory of Information and Other Assets. What's fascinating here is how fundamental this is, yet sometimes overlooked. You simply cannot protect what you don't know you have. Imagine trying to secure your house without knowing if you have a back door or maybe a window left open somewhere. This is that essential step. Creating and maintaining an up-to-date comprehensive inventory of all your important assets, information, hardware, software, services.
You need to know what you're protecting.
You do. Now, stepping back for a moment and connecting this to the bigger picture, especially today, 8.5.23 Information Security for use of cloud services. This is so crucial now. With the massive adoption of cloud computing, you have to remember, the cloud is really just someone else's computer managing your data or processes.
Right.
So ensuring those cloud services are properly risk assessed and secured, making sure you have clear policies and agreements in place with your providers, it's absolutely critical for modern organizations, especially with all of the data privacy regulations flying around today.
Definitely. What about the human side?
Ah, yes. It really begs the question about the human element, doesn't it? Because security isn't just about the tech. 8.6.1 screening and 8.6.3 awareness, education, and training really drive this home. Technology can build a fortress, but your people are effectively the gatekeepers. It starts with properly screening employees before you hire them, where appropriate and legal, of course. You look for HR screening records as evidence, and then ensuring they are regularly trained and kept up to date on information security practices, things relevant to their role. You need evidence like training logs, maybe attendance sheets, quiz results. If your gatekeepers aren't vetted or trained, the fortress is vulnerable, no matter how strong the walls are.
Good analogy. And it's not just digital threats, is it?
Not at all. And that brings us to something like 8.7.4, physical access restriction. This is often overlooked in our digital focus, but it's vital for comprehensive security. I mean, if someone can just walk into your server room unchallenged, maybe plug in a dodgy USB stick, you have a massive vulnerability right there. So this control covers physical access controls, locks, access cards, visitor logs, maybe CCTV footage, ensuring not just your digital assets, but your physical ones are protected too.
Makes sense. And the more classic tech controls?
Oh yeah, plenty of those. For instance, 8.8.7, protection against malware. That's your antivirus, anti-malware solutions. You need evidence that are deployed, updated, logging events like antivirus logs. Also, 8.8.9 configuration management, ensuring systems are hardened, securely configured according to defined baselines. You'd look for configuration baselines, change control records related to configurations, and 8.8.15 logging and 8.8.1 others monitoring activities. These are crucial. Enabling sufficient logging on systems, protecting those logs from tampering, and then actually monitoring them for suspicious activity. Evidence. Log files, maybe SIEM system configurations, monitoring reports, alert investigations.
Wow. Okay, so it covers a huge range, from high-level policy down to specific technical settings. So with all these detailed requirements and controls, for someone listening who might need to actually apply this knowledge in the real world, maybe doing an internal audit or prepping for certification, how does this checklist specifically guide that process? What's the practical methodology?
Right, the practical application. The source material, the checklist itself, clearly outlines the steps. When you're using this, say for an internal audit, you'll conduct interviews with relevant personnel talking to people doing the jobs. You'll also review pertinent documents, like those policies, procedures, risk assessments, logs we've mentioned, lots of documentation review.
Right, checking the paper trail.
Checking the paper trail, and also observing processes in action, seeing how things are actually done, not just how the procedure says they should be done. Then, for each audit question on the checklist, which maps directly to a requirement in the standard, you simply mark yes or no for compliance. But critically, you don't just tick a box. You need to provide specific evidence or remarks to support your finding. Saw policy X, dated Y, or interviewed person Z, who confirmed process Q.
So you need proof for your assessment.
You absolutely need proof. These findings, the yeses, the nos, and the supporting evidence are then absolutely crucial. They feed into generating formal internal audit reports, identifying areas for improvement, or for meticulously preparing an organization for that external certification audit. It makes the whole abstract standard very concrete and actionable.
Okay, so let's bring this back to the listener. What does all this mean for you? Whether you're, say, navigating the complexities of your own company's security, maybe considering a career in this field, or even just trying to get your head around how organizations protect their valuable information in this crazy digital world. Why should you care about this deep dive into a checklist?
Well, understanding this ISO IEC 270.1.2022 checklist, even at a high level, gives you a really powerful lens through which to view information security. It's much more than just some bureaucratic compliance document. It's genuinely a blueprint for effective protection. It demonstrates clearly that real security is about people, processes, and technology all working together in harmony, not just one piece.
It's the whole system.
It's the whole system. And knowing about it empowers you. It helps you ask informed questions, maybe recognize potential vulnerabilities in organizations you interact with, or just truly appreciate the continuous layered effort required to safeguard data effectively. It also highlights a key point. A truly secure organization isn't just compliant on paper, it's resilient. It's capable of adapting to new threats and challenges. Understanding this framework helps you see what that resilience looks like in practice.
Yeah, this deep dive into the ISO IS 200,001.2022 checklist has really underscored that multifaceted, interconnected nature of robust information security. It really does stretch from that top-level strategic commitment and risk management all the way down to the nitty-gritty of employee awareness training and, physical door locks.
Absolutely. And maybe a final thought to consider is this. While this checklist provides a clear, structured framework, a really valuable roadmap for building and maintaining a secure information environment, the real challenge, but also the real opportunity, lies beyond the checklist itself. It's in fostering a pervasive culture of security, a culture where every single individual within an organization understands their personal role in safeguarding information, making security not just a compliance checkbox ticked off by the IT or security team, but truly an integral part of daily operations and everyone's mindset. So the question maybe for you to think about is, what part might you play in your own work or life in contributing to such a culture?